While Nintendo may have missed a golden opportunity to release Super Mario Sunshine in September during Mario's 40th anniversary celebration, their October offering was never in question. From the very moment that Nintendo announced the GameCube titles coming to the Nintendo Classics app, everybody knew the Luigi's Mansion was gonna come out right before Halloween. And here we are. Sure, that was easy to predict, but I still gotta know, is this game actually worth playing? To answer that question, I decided to flip through the pages of Electronic Gaming Monthly, GamePro, Game Informer, and more classic magazines that reviewed this game back when it first came out. Oh, I sure hope you brought the right vacuum accessories because we're going to be busting ghosts in this bone-chilling episode of Nintendo Classics Review Crew.
You've got one night to save Mario from the supernatural. This game will scare you silly. Luigi's Mansion, only on Nintendo GameCube.
Well, the Super Mario franchise has never been frightening. It has dipped its toe into the horror genre. As far back as Super Mario World, our favorite plumbers had to navigate their way through haunted houses, something that was later expanded upon in both Super Mario 64 and the Mario Kart franchise. But while those were brief moments of spooky and otherwise lighthearted games, Luigi's Mansion decided to fully embrace the horror theme. While we can certainly quibble about the execution, this was an excellent way of setting Luigi's game apart from his more famous brother. It also allowed Nintendo a chance to play inside of the darker confines of the horror genre, something that they had really never had the opportunity of doing. Now, I've already alluded that the game isn't as universally loved as Mario's various outings, but let's go ahead and see where the critics landed on Luigi's Mansion. Normally, I like to start with Electronic Gaming Monthly because they're usually right in the middle of the scale. However, in this case, they're at the absolute bottom, giving Luigi's Mansion a surprisingly low 7.5 out of 10. That said, this is one of those times where the average score doesn't exactly tell the full story, because there was a huge disagreement in the EGM offices. Shu gave the game a 5 out of 10, confused why his fellow critics even liked the game. It's cute, adorable in fact, but cute and adorable don't make a game. Luigi's is just interesting enough for me to see it through to the end, but it doesn't provide the Mario level of dooziness that I was hoping for. Capturing ghosts isn't really that fun or challenging. Just figure out the secret or pattern, then hold your shoulder button down for as long as it's needed, which eventually cramped up my index finger. Chris, on the other hand, gave the game a 9, concluding that any disappointment I felt over the GameCube launching without a Mario game was gone after playing Luigi's Mansion. It's so different from any other 3D character-driven action title I've played in the last 5 years. Every room is just like an Easter egg hunt filled with surprises that'll make you tingly all over. Uncovering little details like discovering things you didn't see in mirrors, etc. make you realize just how finely crafted this game really is. As we climb up the review scale, we see Nintendo Power give the GameCube launch title a solid 4 out of 5, which turns out to be the exact same score that we saw from Next Generation. Across the pond, Next Gen's sister magazine Edge went with a similar 8 out of 10, arguing that fears Luigi's Mansion was going to have a short lifespan had been put to rest. Though it's not epic, it will take longer than you expect to complete. Thankfully, the number of times you laugh, flinch, and have your breath taken away are numerous enough to warrant at least another jaunt through the creaky house. Now when it comes to the highest score, we have a 3-way tie. NGC Magazine gave Luigi a 90%, which is basically the same as GamePro, who went with a 4.5 out of 5. Game Informer gave the game a 9 out of 10, with Rainer making the important distinction that the premise is lighthearted and goofy as opposed to the fear element of survival horror. You know, just in case there was any confusion. He followed that up by explaining that he didn't have the highest expectations for this release, but Luigi's Mansion turned out to be the surprise hit of the year. Even though it's a departure from the Mario lineage, it still harbors the classic feel that we all know and love. Look, while the reviews were certainly good, the scores were down compared to Nintendo's more established franchises. The overall average sits at 84%, which is still good, but not quite at the same level as a Mario or Zelda game. That said, a lot of people have really come around on this game in the last 2 decades. I mean, when you're not expecting it to be the next Mario game and can accept it for what it is, Luigi's Mansion proves to be a lot of fun. Give it a try.
GameCube 光と影が明暗を分けるかつてない冒険の形任天堂ゲームキューブルイージマンション GameCube.
Hey, thanks for watching me break down these classic reviews. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes just like this every time classic games get added to modern consoles. We just posted episodes looking at Tekken 3 and the entire Ninja Gaiden series. So, check those out when you have a chance. Now, here's the question I have for you. What's the best horror game on a Nintendo console? It doesn't have to be published by Nintendo, it just needs to be on one of their consoles. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I honestly didn't expect to have so many Review Crew episodes in a row. But, sometimes things are out of my control. We'll be back later this week with more reviews, I can promise you that. While you wait, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.